Hello, everyone, and welcome to AGL semifinals. Diamond Division here. Heart Showers up against White versus White plus Trey. That's some math for you. D'Lo, Musi, Tess, Almighty, Eye in the Sky, Yamoja, and Kali. Band away. Musi, how we feeling?
Already I feel pretty good, but I just got to highlight the fact that these emoji nerfs make sense, especially with that recent smite patch that dropped today on a Tuesday instead of
Yuck.
Thursday. Shoutouts. This character that we've been seeing a lot of play from through here and also at the OSL, she was also like buffed too. So good character, even better. Just take her out the board. That's probably one of the best supports of the game right now.
No surprise there, especially when you consider from the Heart Showers perspective, right? Think about these teams. What we know as the Ravon and Amaterasu bands come in is that this is a team divided. Just 3 days ago, Heart Showers with four of the members that are taking to this battlefield all united under one banner, one Sparta Division Finals. I'm talking about Reika. I'm talking about Chuck. I'm talking about Mex American Moose, and I'm talking about Snowman. Now they find themselves on opposite sides of the battlefield. What do you do when your former brother is now your greatest opposition? You pick Discordia first.
And I like Discordia as a pick here. There's a lot of disruption that this character is able to offer, as well as big damage with the strife and the buff she can give to her teammates. But that shock pickup, that's classic Rekka gameplay right there. We know that Rekka loves to have this shock in the solo lane. To now turn it on their brothers and sisters, all their friends over on the Heart Showers. Ooh, it's got to be scary.
That is quite frightening. At the very least, I steal buffs. The one other aspect, in fact, the MVP of that OSL game, you don't got to worry about him. But still shocked no matter which character is piloting it, which player is behind the mouse and keyboard. It's still quite a scary pick. Naja as well. A lot of great setup here off the back of those Windfire wheels. Speaking of, Maui is the hover and Maui is the lock. Damage being secured here by Heart Showers first, which again makes sense given who they are playing with. You have the backline of the Heart Showers OSL team, that championship level team. Make sure you want to get your damage off first, whereas White plus Trey, you have Reika, you have Mexican American Moose. Maybe you want to look for that setup first instead. On her, going to be the next pick.
And this on her pick works really well because it's going into Cupid in the dual lane. On her with the CC Immune Ultimate, as well as the beads that they'll likely pick up, are good responses to the Fields of Love that Cupid is able to toss out there. And I worry about this Cupid pick that Heart Showers has, only because it feels a little vulnerable to characters like Naja and Shock. They're able to dash away, give themselves a little bit of space, but Naja can just sash right after you and shock with the massive Axe Rain combo, big AoE ultimate. There's a lot that they can do to disrupt the Cupid. It's to me, I feel like Heart Showers needs to opt for something like an Odin in the future here, so that they can better make use of that Fields of Love ultimate that Cupid's able to put out.
Well, they certainly won't be able to make use of is a Mercury or a Terra, both being now banned away. Everyone considering what other tools remain on the field. I mean, we have seen quite a few solo bans so far already with that Ama as well. So might just see an Odin slotted on alongside the side of White plus Trey if they don't want to deal with that Odin cage. That being said, it's a question of, you already have an on her down. Is it worth investing in that cage when already you know that at least two of their members can escape it? I still say yes, Musi, honestly. I think I agree with your line of thinking. Reduce that healing and also force Shock to use their primary damaging combo. Not too shabby for you. And also, if you have a Windfire Wheels target, you know your teammates up in the sky, lay down a nice little landing zone for them, some nice cushioning for their fall to make sure no one could quite take advantage of that setup. Thor, the final ban there for White plus Trey.
And Kepri follow-up ban over from Heart Shower, so a lot of support focus taken away from White plus Trey. They are going to start leaning towards that Bacchus hover, which is in line with their team comp that we've seen so far. A lot of aggression here, a lot of setup. Bacchus flop, Najal, you have Chalkalt as
Mm-hmm.
well. A lot of opportunities for on her to get a good pillar impale or just toss in some autos with your in-hand, defense reduction. Lots of damage in the spear that we're throwing. The mid pick that I would want to see from White plus Trey is a mage that can follow up with all this setup, all this damage. Something big like a Vulcan, a Scylla, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a monster after Naja. that's that's classic. That's legacy. Kukulkan, right? There are some very obvious picks here that I see, but it's going to be the Atlas that gets locked in instead. Still keeping with that aggression, but in a bit of a different form with more chase down instead of big movement.
I'm actually really glad because if you lock in that Bacchus, you know what that Bacchusura would be replaced with? And a Wheelix. Instantly, that's where my mind would go. So I think keeping your feet on the ground is a wise move to vary up your playstyle, especially when you have a Maui too. That would just be an absolute feasting grounds there for the Moon Panther Goddess. Instead, Bacchusura are going to be trying to find a feast of their own here, but might have a bit more of a difficult time, especially given the fact that Atlas can escape those slows with kinetic charge and in fact unburden the rest of their allies as well. So honestly, that pick, I'm not quite too sure. You can of course get through the silence quite just fine with your nice little basic attacks, those butcher blades. But I'm not sure. I haven't quite seen a Bakasura perform too well in quite some time. Kuzenbo, however, has received some buffs and will receive the pick. Bakasura joins them for the final comp.
And Kuzenbo in the solo lane, I mean, that's a bully character. That's I'm gonna sumo slam you into the wave. I have so many prots that I get to build because I'm chilling in solo. I don't have to worry about auras or anything like that. I can build very selfishly, which lets me just point at you and say, "You and me, we're going for a ride." Also, you can't hurt me. I'm a big old turtle. No soup for you. I like the Kuzenbo lock. It's a lot of CC, and it's in line with keeping this Cupid safe and making sure that the Fields of Love gets a chance to be used. A lot of big circles on the side of Heart Showers right now between Bakasura, between Cupid, Maui. I like the game plan here. White and Trey, though, opting for the
Ooh,
Zhong Kui in the
that's awesome.
mid lane. That's saucy. I like this.
I'm a huge fan of Zhonghui in this case. Obviously, just stays around for a long time. If Kuzuma wants to be up in my face, same with Bakasura, good. I'm gonna exercise you and make a good movie franchise out of it. Put it all on tape for a good found footage film called your highlight reel, I suppose. Zhonghui also has a sustain, of course, that can really keep them in a fight for quite some time. And alongside the Atlas, who can unburden you, that just makes it all the more easy to move around limberly and freely. Do not be fooled by the man's physique. That guy is agile.
And Zhong Kui, they don't have the ability to dash in like Discordia, little tiny little dash, but it's better than nothing at all. They're very much relying on the setup from Naja and from Atlas. So if if Freezing Fantasy and if Mex American Moose aren't able to set up for realty here, it's gonna start to look pretty dicey for the Zhong Kui. They're gonna have to walk themselves up, try to put themselves out of position in order to get the damage off. And characters like Kuzumbo and Bakasura can absolutely capitalize on that, either with a sumo slam to push you even further out of position, or just by completely devouring you body and soul.
If they're able to Nene capitalize off of that setup, that's going to be incredibly potent for Heart Showers to ensure their damage. I mean, you already have, even off the Cupid themselves, and the Apple too, there's so much CC that can be thrown at range. You just kind of toss it out, forget about it, and just let your Bakasura's Butcher Blades do the rest of the work. I'm a bit concerned here about Trey. They really need to make sure that what engagement they lead with goes well. And of course, a sash into the wrong target or Windfire Wheels not well communicated, suddenly this fight becomes a 5v4 for no good reason. So if you're that Naja, you just gotta make sure that you're calming well, you're synergizing with the team properly. Now, Musi, we got five gods. We got five gods. We have two amazing teams. Who do you think takes it and why?
So based on compositions alone, I favor White and Trey's a bit more, only because the Bakasura Cupid picks to me feel a little risky in that they very much rely on getting a lead in order to be established. Bakasura from behind is just an atrocious feeling because you kind of walk up, you ult, you feel like you don't really do anything. And Cupid feels like a character that can be very easily picked off if they don't have a team to coordinate around them.
True.
Those feel like weak links to me as opposed to safer picks like an On Her, like a Chalk, that White and Trey have been able to draft into their comp.
I think a lot of it's going to come down to Kuzenbo. Off of the back of those buffs, and Sumo Slam extra scaling is going to be enough to maybe get the threats off your backline. If Zonqui's trying to recall all the demons, send them to those squishier targets, can you find that crucial Tokyo Sumo Slam drift and quickly get them away? and guarantee enough space to breathe for your Heartstars backline. I think that's what's going to be a very pivotal case once these team fights start to collapse. Like you said, though, early leads, the name of the game here for Heart Showers. So those ganks have got to come fast and they got to come effective. Where do you think Bakasura is going to be focusing that pressure to ensure they're eating good?
So I would expect Baka to gank mid more than likely. I mean, Zhonghui seems like an ideal target because they don't have a lot of movement to begin with. If you put them in the Bakasura ult, they're very stuck inside that slow. The minions can do a little body block action. The only problem is that if you overcommit on a gank like that, Zhonghui can ult in response and use a stun to try to get the Baka off of them and
Hmm.
buy some time for freezing fantasy on this Naja to show up, toss his Baka in the air, and then you know Junkwei's out.
That's going to be problematic if that combination can be launched off because yeah, Bakasura, once they're taken to the sky, once that CC immunity off the Yak attack falls off, you're a sitting duck. And obviously, the threat of those AoEs can be incredibly potent, can be enough to drive away an entire team, in fact. But if Naja has that Windfire Wheels, they might just decide to neutralize that threat before it really becomes that big of an issue here. So we've talked about, I suppose, the vulnerability here of Hard Showers, the fact that they are relying on that snowball. White plus Trey, if we're looking towards what weaknesses, what weak chinks in the armor we can, try to slip the dagger in the ribs between, what do you think that's got to be for them?
So it to me, once again, it's the spicy picks, things like Zhang Kui, potentially Naja could see some suffering here, just because they're not what we're used to seeing, and that can be a double bladed sword. It's we don't quite know how to play into this because we're not seeing it too much. And then there comes a point in the game where it clicks and you go, oh, yeah, that's why this god is not picked all the time, as opposed to something like Robin or Camazotz, right? Naja is able to offer great setup and great utility, but aside from Sash, they don't have a lot of movement. If
Hmm.
they come down off the ultimate, if the enemy team is ready to respond, they can use it as a setup for their own damage. Naja goes up,
Yeah.
picks somebody up. Discordia says, "Okay, I've got the apple ready." Like that. That to me speaks trouble. And Zhang Kui, I highlighted it before, but there's not a lot of mobility there. If we're able to burn some relics off of Zhang Kui, force his ult out, you just kind of walk up to him and say, "Hey, bye." So it could be danger.
Yeah, now that I think about it, dude, Fields of Love, obviously within the Ultimate itself, has a delay. Naja's in the sky, and they get that thing Amazon Prime shipping quickly. Those heart bombs are going to hurt quite a bit. It comes down then to locking in with the rest of your team, making sure that you're all coordinated and ready for the drop, and ready to drop some enemies as well. But the real war, the real story that comes to me here, Musey, is backline versus frontline. Heart showers are divided from their OSL comp. You have the carry and the mid sticking together, and then you have the support and solo on the other end. I've got to imagine there's a bit of rivalry there, trying to prove, hey, my role is just a bit more valuable than yours.
And to me, at least, it feels like this advantage of knowledge between teammates does go to White and Trey because you are familiar with how your carries move. You know what they want because you're the tank sticking next to them in order to protect them. It's going to give insight to Mex American Moose, to Reika on how to kind of get under their skin, annoy them. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
likes to get hit with a shock axe. I'm sure more than one ADC has been like, you just please make some space for me. This guy is bothering me, harassing me. So Mex American Moose is like, ah, dude, they're gonna hate it when I pull this off on them, right? Like I know how to get through the defenses that you're putting up because I
Mm-hmm.
was the defenses. I was the wall. And on the flip side, though, you have to be afraid of the fact that hard showers, their damage carries are known shooters on the field. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of trepidation on the side of White and Trey of like, well, I know for a fact that Ao's Chuck can swing that Discordia apple like nothing else. Can we please focus them? And Snowman, if I'm not mistaken, Snowman was the ADC for Heart
Correct.
Showers from that other game, but now they're over in the solo lane. So we're
Interesting.
seeing the Snowman Reika solo matchup as opposed to Snowman in that ADC role, which is gonna, there's a lot of potential of Are they going to perform as well as they did in ADC? Is solo their
Hmm.
true lane? So I actually have a lot of expectations for the solo lane going into this match. The real civil war, two soldiers left stranded alone in a lane until somebody decides to show up and four-man gang solo lane. I mean, I've been there. We've all been there. It's no fun.
It's the real Marvel crossover that we've all been begging for. The real Phase 4, not those crappy Disney Plus spin offs. But like you said, shooters on deck and White and Trey trying to be the McDonald's workers that tip off the authorities and set them behind bars here. Keep in mind, semifinals, that means it's a best of three set here, so not too much to play around with, but you still at the very least have this one game to try to feel things out. Try to maybe feel out this patch. The fact that it dropped just today, Musey, means we're kind of in uncharted waters. And I mean, to be fair, Maui, lore wise, specializes in that, but as a god and as a player, you might be feeling a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, you definitely want to do your homework before going into a set, and because the patch dropped in a way it did, you got to make sure it's like, well, time to check the website, see what's going on. As far as like big sweeping changes, the ones that are going to be relevant, at least to this match, and we talked about it, it's going to be the Kuzumbo damage, increased scaling, decreased cooldown on the Kappa. But the other characters in this game haven't seen too much in the way of changes right now. But
Hmm.
potentially for Zhong Kui, with that Telkine's ring, the Ring of Hecate change, i- those are items that he could potentially use, but I don't foresee them in his build. So, m- yes, changes, but for right now, we get to pretend like it's that last patch of Smite that we were dealing with. Just keep a leery eye out for the giant Ninja Turtle that's standing in solo lane.
And the smaller turtles that he's throwing out with just a bit more force. You know, Kuzumbo's been warming up his arm, doing his proper stretching before and after games, which is important for maintaining proper physical form. And must be also noted, Hard Showers, White, and Trey have not faced off against each other ever before. Hard Showers are the number one seed stepping in here. Of course, gives them a bit of that advantage, a bit of that cachet, right? You're coming in with a bit more swagger to your step. I'm the king of the Kappas, right? White and Trey, second seed, have reason to feel confident too. Neither one has, apart from just the knowledge that they have on each other, the homework they might have been doing, or, just watching yourselves during your own scrims together when you were so many days ago good friends and now enemies. That's the knowledge you're working with here. There's no game tape to look back at to see what mistakes you've made against this composition. You're fighting in the blind a little bit.
And this isn't a best of five like we've been seeing a lot of finals going on. This is semifinals. It's a best of three. You only have so much time to figure everything out and to piece it together. One too many mistakes, and that's the game. So game one is going to be a very decisive and important momentum setter for the team that wins, because it means that they have that peace of mind going into game two, that they can experiment a little bit and they can find more opportunities to win it. If they slip in that game too, they still have game three to come back.
Yeah, and Fenrir, you can hear in the background on Musie's mic, is really excited for this game to begin. So are we, just trying to anticipate in terms of how is this going to first start off. I got to say that the solo lane matchup, I was not even aware that the matchup switch had happened here. So there might be a bit of discomfort when you're transitioning from what can be quite the passive or what quite the aggressive lane to start that duo, and then kind of transferring over to something that could be a bit of just a slug fest between those solos. So I'm hoping that you adjust quickly because again, it's not necessarily a sprint, but not quite the marathon that we have either if you want that finals opportunity here. And Diamond Division, of course, these players are high caliber. They should be able to, but nonetheless, you know, unstable waters, just being in any situation that you have not quite experienced for some time, you're bound to have to shake off the rust a little bit, maybe just get some polishing on that shell of yours, Kuzmo, and then get right back into action. As far as just key heroes we're out to look for here from Heart Showers, we already talked about White and Trey. It's going to be about the Najan, whether that setup comes through. Who are we really looking for to be the standout performance on the left side?
So I honestly, I'm not quite sure. I wish I could have an answer for you, but it's gonna take a few. I would give it that 7 minute mark to really find out who's gonna be the hero on the side of the Civil War, and who's gonna be that villain. I would say I would expect big things from characters like
Big
Bakasura if they
things?
get a chance to, like, big things here. We love it. We love Bakasura here. Shout out Mort. But I would expect, like, if Bakasura gets a chance to get ahead, it's over. Baka from ahead, it's just gonna snowball. They just burst down Jonqui, and then everybody else falls behind.
Mm-hmm.
If White and Trey finds an early lead with their Naja or with their On Her, getting a chance to rotate and group up for team fights, have combination ultimates with that Naja, with the Pillar and Impale, then I would say White and Trey has a big advantage that they'd be able to leverage and abuse. I think something we haven't touched on yet, but I think is going to be relevant is that because this is a Civil War comp, both these teams are very familiar with how important objectives are because the last game that we
That's
had together
true.
watching Heart Showers was they snuck all the objectives. They focused Gold Furies, they focused the BDKs, they were able to get late game Fire Giants because they just grouped up, they did gold, and then they hung out. This time, though, I would very much expect a lot of engagements around Gold Furies, around BDKs, around Fire Giants. They are not going to let this one go because they understand the importance of the objectives.
Absolutely correct. And with that, enough sitting around from us here around this lobby. Let's get right into the game. Welcome back, everyone. Heart Showers, White and Trey, AGL Diamond Division semi-finals here. The meeting of Group A and Group B. Long-awaited crossover. I'm D'Lo, joined here by Music Clan. We got Tess, Almighty Eye in the sky with those precision production talents. Musy, take a look out in front of you, man. What's your eye seeing? What's your eye liking? What is just drawing your attention as we get into these opening minutes?
So, I mean, right away, it's a lot of what we expect. You know, Kuzumbo and Shock going to be rolling it out in that solo lane. And the Discordia Zhonghui mid. I had a moment where I was like, I wonder if it's something really silly, like a Shock mid and a Zhonghui solo. But it's going to be about what we expect, about what it lines up with. And just taking a look at like some of the early relics here, we see that there is a pause relic
Dear God,
that's been
guys.
used. lot of connection issues today.
It would seem to be the case. Well, you know what I am seeing? A rushed breastplate there by the Kuzenbo. That's interesting. No starter item. Decides to forego that. Says, I don't want the appetizer. I'll go right to the main course.
Well, I mean, look at the stats on that bad boy. Why not? 25 prots, 200 mana, MP5, 10%
Stylish
cooldown.
too.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at the coloring of it. The tasteful thickness. Oh my god. It's even
I'd
got
wear that.
the font. Yeah, 100%. I don't even know how Kuzumbo fits into that though, realistically. Don't tell him I
He's
said
already got
that.
a coat on too. It's layers. It's winter, dude. You gotta, it's cold down here. The rain and
Yeah.
all that from the shock. You don't want to be cut
Classic.
out. You're gonna catch a cold.
50 degrees in December. Whoa, Chuck. Taking a bit of poke.
Oh, it's chilly here in the mid lane too. And that Book of Demons gonna make it go below 30 degrees Fahrenheit is now Chuck frozen in place and in the grayscale. First blood goes there to White and Trey.
And that kind of lines up with expectations because Baka doesn't have much of an early game presence. Discordia, you know, even if they dash out, they're still in range of Freezing Fantasy stun, and Realty is able to get easy ring bounces because of the Bastions too. It means that Chuck needs to kind of chill out for a bit. They need to not uh,
Die.
play so far forward, not die, right? Like, we don't want that. And it's getting even dicier as White and Trey finds even more in the solo.
Uh-oh. Hope that coat is really serving you well. A great interruption to the Sumo Slam. Increased scaling doesn't mean anything if you don't have it available. Freezing Fantasy adds one more to the popsicle count. Snowman goes down. And look at this. Aggression to the dual lane as well. Master Fisherman trying to reel in a big kahuna. Dash there aggressively from the Cupid. Bakasura joins the battle, blocks the kinetic dash, decides to leap in. Might just get sucked back out into the tower. Mex American Moose finds a third victim there for White and Trey.
And the Mex American Moose making great use of the sprint relic that we saw early on. It makes space. It means that YeetJungleBuff can't keep up with them. It didn't help the fact that they got body blocked by the minion wave too. So as they try to overcommit for that kill, and I'm not even sure what the play was because obviously Atlas can and will scoop you up. It's not quite a Sobek pluck. It's arguably worse because they just hold you underneath that tower. Bold Demon King scooped up for White and Trey. It's only like 2 minutes. They already are establishing such a dominant resonance across this battlefield.
And it's not even from the Civil War matchup. It's Chuck going up against a new entity here. Freezing Fantasies, the Anomaly. And Chuck's gotta try to figure it out quick. The Enigma needs to be deciphered. You only have a best of 3 to do it, and you have 3 kills already stacked up against you less than 3 minutes. That is disgusting work. It's exactly what you said, though, Musi. White and Trey recognize the value of objectives, and right now it seems the blue buff's gonna be one of them. They take the steal, then they take Jungle Buff's life. You don't have to take it so literally. It's first the blue buff, then yeet Jungle Buff, since they yeet him back into the fountain.
Reika getting a lead in the solo lane is just disastrous for Snowman because Shock was a character that already doesn't particularly lose in lane. They're a bully. They can just clear. They have Bluestone and then just go back to their tower. No issue whatsoever. But now that Shock's ahead, it means that we can expect even more of those blue invades, those blue right side rotations. And Reika, we know how they play. We've seen them before. Giving them a lead, letting them get ahead. We're going to see rotations too. It's tough. A tough start for Heart Showers. And a Maui ult too. Trying to put Atlas in a tough spot.
Officer is making the rotation, but good jukes out the side of the Fields of Love. The Yak Attack's going to fall on the Kitty Cat instead. They decide to leap back to safety, and Solar Swing already expended on maybe the wrong target. Now you have no stun, and the Astrolabe going to be defending their retreat. White and Trey able to get away and make their day, as just every single time Jungle Buff comes over, they return with empty hands.
And, you know, YeetJungleBuff doesn't have the itemization to even stick to people quite yet. You do have ult to use to try to lock people down, but Atlas is a character that doesn't care. Whoa, Naja onto Discordia. Oh, she gets it!
Oh, let's go, Chuck! Manages to fight back, finally puts him on the board. Watch out, the minions want blood too. Chuck not going to be able to give it to them, unfortunately. The minions will have to wait a bit longer to actually get some kills on their ledger. Nonetheless, finally an answer back.
And that's got to feel good for Heart Showers. It stems the bleeding for a bit. You know, you got to remind White and Trey who you are. Chuck is a monster in this mid lane, and we get a chance to see, like, yes, that's the player I was expecting to see. It's like, all right, get away from me. I don't want it anymore. So good on Chuck, making some space, and hopefully Realty will respect the mid laner a little bit more, not get as antsy.
Another BDK goes there to White and Trey. Just doing a fantastic job, especially freezing Fantasy with his rotations. With that first one showing a clear willingness to go to that solo lane, and I think we might be seeing it happen again as they start to amble on over, potentially a bait waiting around this corner. They do find one of their quarries. Unfortunately, though, the marker is off the mark. Bakasura trying to secure this blue. They are the king of secure. You've got to make sure you get this. They will succeed. Will you get out with your life, though, as well? They do, thanks to a nice leap. Fortunately, your friend's being taken to the sky, brought back down. Kuzenbo might even be there to receive their own buff. Sorry, the Maui, in fact. Wrong Guardian, but still the right kill. White and Trey make it 5 with the quickness. They don't come with the buff, but they still manage to find something.
And freezing Fantasy being more than willing to like wait behind that rock so that Heart Showers funnel into that small cramped space of that blue buff. It makes Zhonghui and Shock really shine in those moments because the players don't have a lot of places to escape to. They're stuck in the Zhong ult. They're stuck in the Shock ult. And of course, you know, if the Shock ult lands, it just means that you're even more stuck than you were before because not only are you not able to move, but now you're silenced, you're knocked up. I mean, Zhonghui free casts into you. And Reika, all this aggression into this camp, I'm pretty sure they get away.
Hold on a second. The minions get some body blocks to say something about that. A great Yak Attack, but a fantastic rotation from the Naja. Landfall says, you're not going anywhere, buddy. Snowman's on a shooting spree. The mob boss comes up with 1 kill. Reika goes down. Now Real Team might be the next target. Try to find their entrance on in. The Gamma Ray is for a friend, but unfortunately, Ayo's Chuck is a foe. Realty goes down. Good body blocks once again. Master Fisherman tries to pull back a big one. Atlas, though, does not want to stick around on the boat, decides to retreat back to the rest of their friends. 2 bodies there, drop for Heart Showers.
Big, it's a big Heart Showers assemble moment. Collapsing onto Reika, who I was like, oh, yeah, Chalk over the wall and it's fine, but Maui
MVP
ult,
minions.
MVP minions, and, you know, Maui ult making sure that they can't get away. Cutting off options forces Reika into a position of like, well, hey guys, remember when I took your blue buff before? Wasn't that silly? Why is that a gun in your hand? So I like the fact that Heart Showers has the ability to respond You know, even though White and Trey has this bombastic, this explosive start, Hard Showers are very much still players and a team in this game. They are not laying down by any means. It's just kind of on the back of, hey, yo, it's Chuck at this point. I want to see them try to get YeetJungleBuff a little bit more farm, help them get ahead, because that Bakasura is going to help them get even more.
Having the Mafioso catch up in levels to the Shock is so pivotal. But look at this. Pivotal strategy, it seems. A pillar of it has been freezing Fantasy on these rotations, leaving Discordia to kind of free farm away, and does not seem like Impunction wants to arrive quite punctually to that minion wave. It decides to dash back, maybe a bit too eager to get to that buff, because now you could be in trouble there. Recall Demons finds some good damage. Half health to Cupid. Landfall right over that pillar, man. Over the candlestick. Jack jumped over, and Jack be quick trying to get back to where they could be a bit more slick with their movements. Trying to get that gank is well and good, but it might just be a bit too much aggression there. They come back with nothing as well.
And mid laners especially need to worry. Oh, a BDK picked up by YeetJungleBuff there. That's why you have to be careful about those rotations. It leaves yourself open to the possibility that you lose objectives on the other side of the map, because there's no way you get Gold Fury in that moment. You just have to settle for the purple buff. We need to align our priorities a little bit better, and there's a lot of movement towards this Kuzenbo. 3 members in that BDK pit. They're going to start walking away, though, wiping a sweat off my brow.
I am embarrassed, Musi. I'm embarrassed because I just realized this is Zonkui jungle, and he's about to show you why. He's about to come around this right side. He's about to say welcome to the jungle in a second, as they try to welcome that Discordia into loving arms of the Atlas there. Finds the mark. Finds a bit of extra damage here on top of the retreating forces. Discordia has to use that erratic movement to get back. Gamma Ray put down. Atlas poked out. But Musi, this I'm sorry to say, I feel like a failure at the moment, but that's Zonkui jungle. That's Zonkui jungle, Musi.
I don't blame us for it not clicking, because
why is he
Zhong
ganking
Kui
so
in the
much?
jungle? Yeah, man, this mid laner's ganking so much. They're gonna be,
This guy's crazy.
Careful. They're losing
Picked up the
farm.
speed buff. He's
Picked up
BMing.
the speed buff. He's like, oh man, totally griefing, freezing fantasy. Wait, that is freezing fantasy. Wait, what's going on here? So, I mean, that doesn't change the end game plan of White and Trey, but it does make the early to mid game a little, not difficult, but you know, if Zhong Kui stops finding success, it gives YeetJungleBuff a big chance to come back. And AOS Chuck will inherently have an advantage in this mid lane, because Chuck can just clear that much more safely and effectively than Realty can on this Nausea. So White and Trey obviously putting a lot of focus on these late game engagements, and these players just want to play the picks that they're comfortable playing.
I'm just so embarrassed. I was like, man, Tess, do your job. Why are they not lined up properly? I'm like, I am truly Boo-Boo the Fool. And trying to make a fool right now that's on her. Not going to be obliged, just keeps taking too much damage. Freezing Fantasy. The jungle gets put in place by the other jungle. At least he's got jungle in his name. Can you get a bit of rebranding Freezing Fantasy? It'd be a lot easier.
And it's going to mean that Bakasura gets free reign over this BDK. Look at how quickly they melt that. Even if Bakasura isn't able to confirm a lot of early kills, early ganks, you can rest assured that they can shred through these early objectives more than fine. I mean, they have the Archival online, a little charge bow action so that they can get some damage off of their autos. It's an ideal Baka build for just running at BDKs, maybe some Gold Furies with your friends, a night out on the town, a responsible amount of drinks. I like it. So the question comes from, how are you going to start killing players? You know, where's that build going to shift? You know, Serrated Edge, probably more than likely on the way.
Where alcohol follows, fights follow shortly afterwards, so there might be an end to this good time in just a second as the Kitty's in trouble. Disperse use a fantastic impale, buys him some space, and that Desert Fury buys him some more damage. Not enough. YeetJungleBuff takes the kill on Protective Duck, but Freezing Fantasy comes around the backside. Demon Book says, learn to read, and YeetJungleBuff goes down once again.
Zhong Kui quite literally throwing the book at them, but YeetJungleBuff making good use of their tools to lock down that on her. You know, after they jump, they got nowhere to go. Jump after them. You don't have Fatalis or Frostbound quite yet, but who needs it? Just hit them really hard before they walk away. That's all it takes.
It's a good plan here now. White and Trey plan looking for this beacon 12 minutes in. Have the lead so far, and that means Hard Showers don't want to contest this one quite just yet. Now 12 minutes in, it's 5-6. White Trey with about a 2,000 gold lead without a gold fairy beneath their ledger. Pretty impressive stuff. What can Heart Showers do to answer back?
I think it's Gold Fury time. I think you said the word, it popped in my head, and it went a little ding, a little light bulb moment. We know that Hard Showers is a team that likes to prioritize getting Gold Furies when they can. They like to sneak them in there. When we watched them in that other set that they played, it was they were losing early, right? You know, Chuck and Snowman are used to being down a few kills, down a couple thousand gold in that first few sections of the game, and then
That's true.
swinging their way back around late game. So, but that's not going to happen if they don't confirm some Gold Furies or a saucy kill on this on her.
Owl Fish used to up that speed. Here comes Master Fisherman, but unfortunately gets a bit too close for comfort. And the Impale makes him go even further back. A brilliant pillar buys him more space. The Fields of Love, we're investing quite a bit. Just a bit of a duck dinner right after. Snowman goes down at the end of it. Freezing Fantasy with another rotation here. Going to be able to answer back 1-for-1 across the map. Solo for the carry. Who wins?
Well, I would say that White and Trey comes out a little bit more on top here because not only are you taking that soul laner out, you get to invade onto that blue buff and you get to start setting up this BDK. Heart Showers want to try to put down the on her, and they did, but the cost is just too high, right?
Yeah.
It's not quite worth
Lot
it.
of
This
ults.
doesn't help your gold lead. A lot of ults that you had to use. All it took is for one player to come by and be like, hey, my name's Mex American Moose, and you need to get the frick out of here. And it's enough. It makes space. You know, you lose your carry, but everybody else gets to swing through and clean the rest of the jungle.
It's just an unfortunate theme we're seeing here. That's a bit against the thematic consistency, though. Reika goes down to a nice gank. It seems that Bakasura heard your strat, said, all right, I'll try it out myself. Works out well. Imitation's the best form of flattery. Evens up the kills 7-7.
But it does open the Cupid to a gank from Zhang Kui, lumbering over.
This could be troublesome. Throws the book at him once again. They just are really trying to get him to do their winter break homework, I guess. Hard Showers have got to hit the books.
Not even a book, just a whole library of nonsense. They start grouping up around this Gold Fury. Yuzco's is in the area, but it's already down to about half.
Right in the back is a Naja. It's a friend, not a foe. Only Maui here to stand against them. White and Trey take it despite his best efforts. Solar swing back to safety. It's just objective domination. You mentioned the fact, Musy, that Hard Showers, of course, on their former OSL victory run, had the best hand of it, and looks like it's just not the case here. Another Storm Call falls on top of Chuck. The tag almost finishes the job. Guns a-blazing, Kuzumo goes in, gets pulled right back by the Astrolabe. Not going to be too far out of comfort. Bakasura, in the meantime, pushing down this right side. Musy, it's unfortunate because you also mentioned the fact that Heart Showers need to have an early lead. This Tier 2 tower is a solid response, but they're still trying to respond instead of take initiative.
Yeah, we need to be a little bit more proactive in what we're doing. I would have liked to see a little bit more of a show of force around that Gold Fury as YeetJungleBuff forced to blink away because White and Trey are just ready to commit to the chase. And with Fire Giant spawning at this point, it feels like White and Trey is in such a dominant position, not necessarily in terms of kills or in gold, but just the objective mentality that
Agreed.
if there's a team that feels like they can sauce out a quick objective, I think they'd be able to pull it off because they group up so well around them. YeetJungleBuff was taking early BDKs. They were able to solo these smaller objectives, but now as we reach the stage of the game where we got to start grouping up for them, it kind of swings in the balance towards White and Trey. They're working together as a team just that much better, and they're able to win fights more because of it.
In terms of looking at the teams, it's also interesting that the former Hard Showers split up from OSL. Every single member is kind of shining as some of the best that they have to offer, with the exception of Freezing Fantasy, who is a clear standout for White and Trey. Everyone else is doing pretty solid. Rick is a force to be reckoned with. Snowman has held up considerably well. Same with Chuck. It's actually really impressive that separated and together, all of these members are just so competent no matter what. And I was going to try to borrow some of that competency to get out of that three-man gank attempt. Now Kuzenbo trying to also bait them into a fight that might not be favorable for the Turtle himself, as both solos join the dance.
And, you know, Yuzkos is just forced to kind of watch them as members of White and Trey start gathering around this beacon. It's charged up. Reika walking up to the Kuzumbo. Take a little bit of poke. Yuzko, though, ready to get something gnarly going. Potential ult here.
Landfall finds Anqui, but for pitiful damage and no follow-up either. There's the Fields of Love for the Demon Star to be recalled. This time, Freezing Fantasy's got to learn to read because you just got taken out by YeetJungleBuff. And now, Reika for the double kill. The blades are being unleashed and might be chopping off some more heads in a second. Naja full health, but pushed against a wall, forcing those beads out. Mexican Moose hunted down by Chuck. Brother versus brother, but bloodshed will be had here in the mid lane. 2 members left beneath the tier 1. Only 1 left as Realty gets blown up. A great impale. Perspective Duck answers back, taking down Yuzkos.
And Perspective Duck looking to finish up Punction, but Cupid dash away. Chucks in the wings, the root and the damage. They miss the 1, but here comes Snowman.
This is dangerous. The egg is forced out. 1 lion versus a turtle, a baby, and a goddess of mischief. It does seem that they will finally be able to win the day, but not without some incredibly smooth moves there from the kitty cat.
And what a great fight from Heart Showers. Yuzkos, with that initial ultimate, didn't find a lot of damage, didn't even find a lot of follow-up right away, but it did cut off an option of escape for White and Trey. It gives the Cupid ult and this Bakasura a chance to walk up and pour on their damage. And pour on they did. Giving Baka 3 kills from that engagement alone is going to give them 2 levels up over Freezing Fantasy.
Nice.
Heart Showers, they are now in it. It's just like we've been seeing the last time we saw, you know, Chuck and Snowman on a team together. And I'm sure Reika and Mexican Moose are like, oh, this again, our own strategy. Now that we're starting to reach that 20-minute mark, they're ahead.
It's not what we expected to see it, Musi, but nonetheless, a lead's a lead. We will take it no matter when and where it comes. White and Trey, we talked about their methodology. It's setup. It's through this Naja, not where we expected to see it in terms of role, but what it does is still the same. Are they executing on that vision?
I don't think so. I haven't seen enough Naja ults to really say that I like how they're playing it. On her gets absolutely blown up by YeetJungleBuff in this dual lane. An easy gank. Baka ult can lock them in, and On her didn't have the options available. Freezing Fantasy, though, picks up Chuck. There's blood all over the place.
Oh no, solo lane 2 as the guns go blazing, but it seems like the only one might be going down is Snowman. They get whacked at the calls of Reika and the rest of Godfather Squad on the right side. Heart Showers answer back with a fantastic call for this Gold Fury. That's really wise. Now Freezing Fantasy in trouble. Bit of heals, but Heart Showers come in with a bit of a tight space there. They do take that Fury, now without a bit of a scare from Reika on the rotation. They will be able to escape with their lives. They will also, though, lose that mid-tier 1.
White and Trey, I feel, do a great job with these engagements where they're not fighting 5v5, where they're able to get splinter engagements of catching somebody unawares. Jung, Kui, and Naja doing great jobs of pointing at somebody and being like, all right, buddy, to the black and white zone you go. And they're like, oh, I'm stuck there for like 30 seconds. But Heart Shower's team comp is showing that they really want that 5v5 fight like we saw earlier. So Heart Showers needs to start grouping up together so that they don't get picked off by White and Trey, who are obviously very comfortable with the idea of just sending a freezing over to solo lane or, you know, watching your mid laner make that rotation to duo. Like, they're okay with it. They're okay with the 2v1. That's what they're looking for. So don't let them have that option. Just group up together. We're about level 20 for our carries. That's good enough. Find more.
As the game goes on, it'll be harder to find those splinter fights. And Shock's Chocolate's getting splintered apart in a piece. Might break me off a piece of that bar. Not gonna be able to quite find the kill, but certainly some good threatening damage there on top of Reika. They're gonna have to back off. Pyromancer, object of our affections here. Leashed now, but still pretty low. They could decide to pick it back up if they so decide. Kuzumbo around the back. Decent damage there from the Gamma as well. Taken up to the sky is Kuzumbo. Won't be able to participate for a little bit longer still. Decent damage down on Mexican Moose, just a bit too tanky. Now Reika, speaking of, in the fight. Solar Swing gonna stun them for a bit. Kuzumbo in the back trying to show their bluster alongside. This Bakasura finds Realty. Low health Mexican Moose does not want to rejoin. Snowman will be melted by Perspective Duck. AO with Chuck finds the Moose as well. Once again, brothers will spill brothers' blood. Shock trying to do the same. Cupid having to back off. Now it could be Maui's time to go down. Freezing Fantasy takes their soul. Yusko is out of it. So far, a 2 for 2, but who is going to be next? It just might be Reika, a bit in trouble. Rain Dance going to keep them in that fight for just a bit longer. Bakasura splitting off there from Chuck, and now a bit of option select here issue for Chuck as they just take a bit more damage. Just mere days ago, Chuck was their friend. Now they're lobbing, dispersing magic at you. But meanwhile, White and Trey take that Pyromancer down. What more can we find?
Discoria with the leap in. Shock alt finds Chuck. The damage, not that quite much. Baka pouring it on to Reika as they're forced to walk away. On her jumps in after Chuck and a teleport in as well. Zhonghui damage is big. Takes out Punction on her. Looks for Chuck.
Good damage there on a Chuck. Goes down there right afterwards. And that Watery Grave might ensure Reika goes to that exact destination. As overall, an absolutely insane extended fight. Might not even be over just yet if you can catch the back. Throw out the Kappa, do it! So close. It seems that the turtle does not win the race this time around. Maybe should have taken some notes from the hare. Bakasura able to get out of their sticky situation there from the pressure Realty was delivering. I don't even know who wins that. White and Trey got the objective. All right, okay, you can get a turtle on the back of it, I guess. That might help you.
Yeah, I mean, pouring some damage onto Snowman here. That's a tanky Kuzumbo, though. He has a chance to walk away, but the body blocks
No
are
way.
good. Fantasy just pouring on damage. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, I don't think.
That was so mean. Snowman just upping those mitigation stats, I guess. Press T to see the good players. Shout out more.
Okay.
FG up for the claim here. White plus Trey. Yeah, look at him. He's at the top of the list. And White plus Trey are trying to be the top of the competition here. Looking for this FG. It's Maui lurking on the wings. Gets pulled back in. That's where he wants to be. Unfortunately, will still not find the steal they oh so want. Swings over the wall, but can they get themselves back to safety? A Heavenly Sprint says, yes, you can. With that FG, Gold is an absolute roller coaster here. I don't even know what's going on. Musi, 24 minutes in, even Steven kills. Makes sense of this.
So, basically, what we're seeing here is that White and Trey's ability to cut away certain players from heart showers is enabling them to execute their strategy of, you know, we want to take lopsided fights and try to focus and burn down one person. We have Naja, we have On Her to make that happen. And YeetJungleBuff, while they were able to get a couple of kills off, it just came a little too late. I do think that Heart Showers has a lot of opportunities here, though, because I'm not liking who Realty keeps ulting. I mean, we saw that last fight. They ulted Snowman, the Kuzumbo, the solo laner.
Yeah.
What does that do? Sure, it keeps Kuzumbo out of the fight for a little bit, but ideally you want to try to find a squishy or something like that so that your team can capitalize off of it after the fact. So there's room here for Heart Showers to exploit the weaknesses that White and Trey have. Unfortunately, even though your Baka is 8-3, the enemy Zhang jungle is 8-2. Just a dominant force. They've taken all the kills. Everybody else is like, you know, Naja 1-4, Shock 2-4. You're on
may have some
cracking
more.
even. No, these are my kill. I need these last hits. I'm padding my stats for AGL.
That's all we're doing here. That's all we're doing on both sides, it would seem, man.
It's ridiculous, but it's working. White and Trey find that fire giant, and now they're gonna try to find this left side T2.
Why not? FG around all 5 members. Heartshire is trying to put up a defense. 26 minutes in. Not sure if that's the most feasible thing. They agree. Little Nene Kappa left as the vanguard of the defense. Poor guy, dude. He could not be being paid enough to be sent in against 5 FG gods. Teleport back there by White and Trey, trying to defend against an impending split push here by YeetJungleBuff, who's been doing a really good job, honestly, answering the map pressure. Despite having FG, Heart Showers actually have map state advantage if you look at the towers.
And that's good, but while your Baka is over there going through the jungle, it means that they're not quite ready for a sudden push from White and Trey. They're all grouped up together. They're looking to take even more, but JungleBuff, he's looking around. I thought for a moment maybe he tried to solo that Pyromancer, but White and Trey is going to start that up instead here.
Doesn't seem like Heart Showers even want to try to send something up for it, but White and Trey are paranoid. Understandably so. Hey, where's the Bakasura? That guy is kind of scary. And you see Freezing Fantasy sends out an APB trying to search the sucker out. Pyromancer will go down, and Bakasura will back to safety. we're spending time, we're wasting time on the side of Heart Showers, but White and Trey are still getting things for it. Just might not be as much as they want so far. They're still looking for 2 more T2s before they can even approach these Phoenixes. Heart Showers trying to find their key to a stalwart defense. What's that going to be?
Well, you do have Fields of Love from Cupid, and I do enjoy me a giant AoE ultimate to help defend. So I do believe that's going to be a very important tool coming up, and if Baka is able to get a good flank from behind to put some damage onto Perspective Duck or Realty, gives Chuck a chance to get some damage from the front because White and Trey has to turn around and pay attention to the fact that their backline's getting dove.
Well, unfortunately, Turtle's going to go to the back line, maybe not at their own will. Landfall's been expended. That is huge to note. Bakasura is waiting in the wings for their opportunity, but without that landfall, when will it come? It's a bit less obvious. Now Shock decides their opportunity, a fantastic sumo slam, but doesn't buy you enough time. Instead, the Storm Call falls down. Discordia in trouble, dodges the tag. Not going to be enough. Freezing Fantasy still finds the kill. Realty goes down to Yeet in the back line of Freezing Fantasy, frozen in place beneath that Phoenix. American Moose taken out there for the double by Jungle Buffs. At this point, Cupid launching arrows at will. Reika goes down. The Civil War only going to leave one man alive.
And Heart Showers, big field of love underneath that tower. And with YeetJungleBuff able to swing around behind, JungleBuff and Snowman were able to harass the backliners, and they had nobody to really help them out. Freezing Fantasy went all the way under the Phoenix in order to take out Chuck, which works to the benefit of Heart Showers. With Zhonghui so far out of position, it means Impunction's able to put damage onto them from a safe distance because their support is standing right next to them. Showers is going to pick up that mid Phoenix, and they could push for more. I don't think they will, though. Fire Giant's going to be respawning soon, and Gold Fury and Beacon are some very obvious targets to pick up after the fact. Heart Shower is going to start moving towards that Green Fury.
Yeah, Bakasura can't eat Gold Fury, so they want to just grab some snacks on the way back, some Wendy's. I heard the snack wrap's coming back in 2025. Maybe we'll grab one of those, too, for the release. Primal Fury up on the mark. Heart Showers take that one away. FG spawning in 15 seconds because you know it's going to be an EFG in the game. And that's going to be pivotal. That's where my attentions are lying, and that's why Snowman should not be here getting driven on by 5 members. We saw how this worked out for you prior. Watery Grave to buy you a bit of time, and that Ridwind Shield to buy you a bit more health. But look at all the ultimates being expended. Huge landfall by Maui.
And even with the Fields of Love, it looks like White and Trey are able to get away from it, but YeetJungleBuff is here to close the distance. Chuck picks up a kill too on her. Very low, has to get away. Snowman with the chase. You can't get away from me, I've got you. 2 members remaining for White and Trey as Rekka forced to contend with the force
Great
of Heart
Astrolobe.
Showers.
That was a fantastic Astrolo pull there by Mex-American Moves, diverting their attentions from Reika enough time that they're just going to decide, hey, all right, you reminded me, there's actually a Titan to take instead. Maybe some buyer's remorse there from American Moves. Let him take the shot, please. I changed my mind. Not a good trade as Heart Showers pour all of their damage. They're looking low, but the Titan looks lower. Heart Showers take game 1.
What a game to take. It looked like it was all White and Trey across the wall for the longest time there, but Heart Showers win a couple of good fights back to back. You know, White and Trey just tried to. I can't even say that they did the wrong thing in chasing after Kuzumbo there, because what was Snowman doing up there? It was the bait of a lifetime. Nobody just knew it in the moment.
Are we sure they didn't like buff everything on that character? Dude, no! It's the layers. Bro, he brushed that breastplate. Bro, look at the layers he's got on. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at his build, bro.
he's
Dude
got
is
the
rocking
bulletproof
legitimately
vest.
He is ready for the winter.
I That's saucy. That's so many prods. He's got prophetic. He's got war flag. The
Press T.
mystical veil. Ugh, that's gross.
Press T to
You're
see the good
gross,
players.
Snowman. Press
Yeah,
T.
I gotta
It's all
agree.
Kuzubo. Yeah.
It's all Kuzenbo, genuinely. Well, let's see this. Oh my god. 65,000 mitigated? Holy hell. Hey, to be fair, Reika tried to approach that stats, but you can't topple the Kappa King, baby.
And I mean, Snowman puts in so much work, but YeetJungleBuff, they went divine that game too. There was just a point in the game where they were like, "Oh, okay, no, I'm not gonna die anymore, guys. I kind of got it on lock. 11-3 with this Baka Sura, just shy of the damage that Snowman was putting out, but showing up at critical moments, being able to harass the backline, picking up, Realty and Perspective Duck when it mattered. I man, Heart Showers, they showed up. And the other two members of Heart Showers that are on White and Trey, Reka and Mex American Moose, gotta be thinking of a way to get back at their siblings right now.
I mean, I gotta be thinking about here. We were fooled by the fact that Freezing Fantasy's playing a jungle, and if I look at Realty, I don't see someone who's playing with the team at all. Honestly, 1 and 6 and 6. It's just not a stat line you want to see for a Najah. You're doing the assist, that's good, but it didn't seem like it was actually initiated by Windfire Wheels at all. You had that first kill there in the mid. That's nice. Where were those Windfire Wheels being targeted? Like you said, Snowman, who we just saw eat like 3 ultimates and say, yum, what's next for dessert? So I think we maybe navigate away from this pick. We only have one game left. Our back's against the wall. If we want to win this sibling rivalry, we've got to pull something out different from our bag of demon souls and tricks.
Yeah, I would hope for maybe a more traditional mid lane mage instead of this Naja. Like you said, it was just off the mark. We weren't ulting the right targets, and they don't put out the damage that a character like Discordia can just by pressing a button. You're relying on Freezing Fantasy to do that for you. But Freezing Fantasy is trying to make rotations, make ganks, trying to be that ganker, that aggressor, instead
Mm-hmm.
of the total nuker that, AO Chuck can do with this Discordia. You're kind of left alone as Naja to clean up after the fact. You don't really have the tools to do that.
Hopefully, can find some in your utility belt as we get here raring for game two. So don't you dare go anywhere. More semifinals action in AGL Diamond Division after the break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AGL Semi-Finals Diamond Division. You can't see us, but we can. Oh, we're back. White and Trey, Heart, Showers, D'Lo, Musi, Tess, Kali, Amaterasu, Musi. How you feeling?
Oh, my name got said twice there. That's exciting.
You
No,
like
I
that?
feel pretty good. Yeah, say you like that? It's pretty good. I think we saw a very interesting game, is what I'm going to call it, because it looked like White and Trey had the advantage for most of it. Freezing Fantasy was putting in so much pressure on the map and clearing off so many people that it looked like they had it in the bag. But Heart Showers just won one good fight after the other, two to be exact, where they just turned it around on top of White and Trey. So we still see the classic Heart Showers of we lose early, we win late, and
It's
a
true.
Cullen first pick for White and Trey here.
That just must be the curse of heart showers. I mean, it's curse. I say curse, but really it's quite the boon. In fact, it's really also a mental game you play with your opponents when you do something like that. You think that everything falls before you. The world is at my feet. No, my friend, you're not the Hound of Ulster. You're a puppy dog. Get back in the shed. Being said, Kakolin's a good answer to just try to continue to play through that solo where they started off so dominant before. And now, with that Bakasura band away, in fact, Mercury and Kali, a lot of high pressure jungle picks, we are targeting the hell out of jungle buffs.
Are we? Yeah, I was gonna say YeetJungleBuff kind of feeling the pressure. They had such a performance on Bakasura before, so we just take away all of the auto attack junglers.
Smart.
Between Kali, Merc, and Baka. So no left click shenanigans here. Makes me wonder, like, what options are gonna be available to
Artemis.
YeetJungleBuff? Artemis Jungle. If there's an Artemis Jungle locked in Delo,
We
I
saw
will
Zonk
pay
wait,
you
dude.
$50 at Vegas. I'll do it.
I'm sending you my cash app right now. Let's get it going.
Excellent.
Discordia, Cupid are the hovers. I see no issue with that at all. They performed very well at their jobs prior, and they're probably going to do it again.
And even though Cupid didn't have too much in the damage department, Fields of Love as a tool in a fight is so handy. Being able to throw down that AoE damage, the Mez, the Cripple, holds people in place to give YeetJungleBuff a chance to swoop in there and pour on their damage. And for Chuck, Discordia is a legacy pick. I mean, they are so good on this character. They've got so much sauce with it. I love seeing it for Chuck. Shibalanke in response from White and Trey. Another another carry from White and Trey's ADC here in Punction. They were playing that on her before. To me, that says a very aggressive carry, a very much like I want to put the team on my back.
hmm
Shibalanke reflects a similar mindset.
It's like when they say like this isn't your grandma's carry, this is your grandma's carry. This is like just a carry. When you think of it, it does damage. It's got a good auto attack stim. It's got a good global ultimate too that provides some decent pressure there. If you want to try to make it a bit harder for Discordia to throw that apple, make her do it blind, put on a little blindfold action and see if she can hit that dude perfect trick shot. Heart Showers now got to find a response on their side. Damage has been now the priority, whereas White and Trey, actually, now that I think about it, we're kind of following the same draft philosophy. Hardshowers securing their backline, White and Trey prioritizing that solo a bit more. That's a lot of confidence here from the Hardshowers to say, listen, we can go through another wave of bans here or a counter pick too. Jungle Buffs is going to do well no matter what. Sobek is the pick here. It's the same idea. Like you mentioned, in fact, literally before, Atlas, it's like Sobek, it's just a bit different.
And what Sobek does for White and Trey's comp is it offers a lot of disruption in the way of pluck, as well as the lurking waters. They're slow and damage on that too. A lot of bully potential for White and Trey. You have Kukulin in the solo lane. They want to bully out solo lane. Sobek, Shabalanke in the duo. You want to bull out the dual lane. And against Cupid, if you catch a Cupid with your Sobek pluck and then they dash away, all your Xbalanque has to do is just dash after them and kit dump with their poison darts, land a few good
hmm
autos, and then you're in there. You're winning. Granted, do this before, or rather, do this after they use Fields of Love. Otherwise, Cupid will ult on top of themselves, and then you're like, well, sir, I'd rather you didn't hit me. And Cupid
That's
says, I'm just
illegal.
a little baby. Like, and you're like, all right, well, you got me there.
Maui locked in again. Heart showers are just saying, all right, guys, we're going to run the exact
Run
same
it
thing
back.
back. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? It's an action replay. Bakasura is the one exception. And I don't know, just given this week, Musi, I think players with buffs in their gamer tag are just buffed.
Yeah, and this is like a legacy comp. Oh, the Jean Kui band from Freezing Waters.
That's funny
Tee
as hell.
hee. That's hilarious. I love that. But these are all characters that the players of Heart Showers are very familiar with and they know they can perform safely on. Not only is it comfort, it's also part of the comp. You have Maui to block off exits and entrances and pull people in for this Cupid Heart Bomb and the Fields of Love. And then Discordia is Discordia, making your strongest player that much better. And with the Strife ability, it's just a lot of disruption that Heart Showers has available. White and Trey for their mid pick. I want to see something a
Ah,
little safer. Oh, Kuzenbo ban.
I was hoping to do
Sag.
all 5 jungles. I was hoping to do 5 jungle bans just to really stick it there to buffs. Kuzenbo ban's really smart. Just based on what you said before, the fact that that play to go on the Kuzenbo was smart. It just doesn't matter when he uses Pridwin and lives frickin' forever. So fine, no more turtles, no more kappas, no more nay-naying for us.
And it does leave Shock open though, which if Snowman has a Shock under their belt, Shock does pretty well into Cucullin because you can just clear the wave and chill. You're just like, all right, well, you're a big angry guy, but I got a big old axe. I'm gonna clear this wave, and I'll see you at level 20, buddy. And I wouldn't mind a Shock here actually, or you know what goes crazy here, D'Lo? I
What
think
you got?
Odin goes nuts here, or
Okay,
Bake
or a whale?
Kajira, or a
Maui
whale.
does like to fish after all.
I need
Yeah,
I feel obligated to tell you, whale is to me what Hachiman is to you.
that's a lot of players' thoughts, honestly. I know Ztan feels the exact same way, so you're not alone there, buddy. There's a group for that. Call the number below, and you too can, I guess, just
Ooh,
hate Baki Kujira in peace. Habwa, answering the
Habwa.
nautical theme here, I suppose. An interesting jungle pick for sure. Not one that I've seen for quite some time. Not as atypical, of course, as a Zhongqi, but still definitely not your average jungler that you're going to see every day.
I like how you read that as the jungler too. Like Ixchel had it been hovered at that moment, you're just like, yeah, no, that's the jungler. That's going to freezing water,
I
freezing
know my
fantasy,
stuffs.
100%. Yeah, D'Lo plays
Boom.
ball. They know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not in the league, but I do play ball.
You're not in the league. You can play ball, and
Eggshell is going to be
Ixchel.
playing ball too, man. I mean, walk me through this pick too. They got the comp set up. What's White and Trey's process?
So, I mean, it's a lot of knockup potential between Hebo and Sobek, as
Oh, that's
well as
gross.
Kukulin, and then you have Eggshell too to give a little pop uh knockup. And with a bit of sustain, I mean, what Eggshell does best is pump out ludicrous amounts of damage. And if I'm not mistaken, no, yeah, she totally did. She received buffs this latest patch. She got 10%
Yep.
scaling on Rainbow Crash. She has a second off of the Lunar Invocation, the knockup ability. So a great character now made even better. But against the Fenrir pick there, that's a good pick because Eggshell only has the ultimate to like get away from Ragnarok. Without it, if Fenrir is able to get the leap off into the Ragnarok, that Eggshell's going nowhere except potentially the grave.
That is going to be a scary thing to deal with for sure. I will say, I will never forgive White and Trey for not giving us a wheelish carry in this instance. Look how many knockups they have, man. It would have been perfect,
Oh.
actually. But unfortunately, I have to save that cookery for maybe another recipe. Heart Showers now have their comp locked in. 5 for 5. Who's going to stay alive?
So between hard showers and white and tray, I'm leaning more towards the hard showers comp just because there's a bit more balance and there's a heavy emphasis on CC that is extremely handy in the middle of a fight that can be applied to a wide berth of players. You have Cupid alt, you have Maui alt, Bake Kujira alt as well, and if you need to focus down a single player, Fenrir Ragnarok is available to scoop somebody up and bring them to the Cupid and Discordia to just lay down the damage. White and Trey's composition, though, has a crazy amount of sauce and a wild amount of potential. Freezing Fantasy on this Habwa pick is dangerous. We saw what they did with a character like John Kui. Hebo is a character that can get even more snowbally, more out of control. You know, they can get their Doom Orb, a Carpet online. Now they go from solo lane to dual lane, the knock up onto a Cupid. Where are you going to go? I'm going to hit you with a big old wave attack. And you just get absolutely deleted. Freezing Fantasy just needs be a little bit choosier about how they're positioning because if they try to pull what they were pulling last game, they're just going to get swept up by the tides of Bagakujira or, chomped on by Fenrir.
Yeah, that's Sobek pluck. Again, it's the same kind of call we're going to make in terms of the Naja. It requires communication. It's not quite as committal. It still could very well be a suicide button if you don't use it properly and on the right targets. If we are plucking Bake Kujira, We are cooked. You cannot be going for the blubber boy. Instead, try to look for the baby. Get him into soft spot. Discordia. These characters that have less means of escaping with as much ease.
With the Sobek pick as well, you're also able to not only get your pluck, but you've got the tail whip knockup too. So it buys space for like Xbalanque could call in. But the the name of the game really is that communication and highlighting the targets that we need
Yes.
to focus down. Cupid I think could be a character that should be pretty easy to pick off, all things considering. We don't think of Cupid as the safest god in the whole world. Same thing with Discordia. These are gods that need to put themselves in slightly compromising positions to get their damage off. I really want to see White and Trey capitalize off of that. You know, if Discordia's got to walk up to try to get her golden apple, then by gosh golly, gee willikers, my giant crocodile should be walking up to pluck her. Like, don't let them get away with it.
We've got to make sure that we're capitalizing here. It's that same word that you said at the desk before. We're going to say it here again. There's no kappa in that capitalization, but it still does not matter. There's a reptile, damn it, and they got to make sure they're doing their job. And also, I've got to say, I'm a bit concerned here about the solo lane matchup. Reika just went up against Snowman, who days ago was slinging that bowstring and killing it there, and now they're winning solo too. That's got to feel a bit frustrating, especially against your former compatriot.
And with that solo matchup, I don't even believe that it was Snowman truly winning it. It was more that they had a grander impact in that late game. Reika was still dominating in that solo, and it had a lot to do with
That's
freezing
true.
fantasy, making those rotations, those blue buff invades that they were able to pull off. This isn't to discount what Snowman has been able to do in these games leading up to the moment. But if I'm Reika, I'm feeling right now, it's like, man, win lane, lose game, huh? Like the classic solo lane adage, like, oh, but I was doing so well. What do you mean I'd lose? This is bull honky. I hate this.
Yeah, it doesn't feel the best. It's a bit demoralizing. So hopefully Reiki can just shake this one up because you don't have any more games left to play. You don't have any more safety rope to use to bail yourself out of a rough situation. At this point, you're in the thick of it. If you don't take it here, you go home with zip, zilch, nada. So to prove yourself the better half of Heart Showers in the OSL comp, you got to make it big here. Will they execute? Let's find out and jump into game. White and Trey. Heart Showers, AGL Diamond Division Semi-Finals, Delo, Musi, Teste, Musi. What we seeing, what we liking, what we fearing.
I fear that we haven't hit the frog yet. I need
Ah,
somebody to hit that frog. Look at that health bar. That's a free kill. It's a free stack, surely. No, I'm kidding. But it's like you said, you know, the Hebo jungle for freezing fantasy here.
no surprises this time.
No surprises this time. We did our homework. We looked through the library, the books, the summer reading program. We finished it up.
Thanks,
We're
Freezy.
following along now. And thank you, freezing. And I really just want to focus and worry about whether or not Freezing Fanny gets the start that they did before. Because Hebo from behind, you still have knockups available. You can still deal a fair amount of damage to squishies, but if a tank walks up to you, it just feels not that great. You know, you're not going to be able to get the damage off that you need, and the snowmans of the world is just going to Baka Kajira all over you. You're just kind of like, okay, well, thanks, man. At least I have my carpet. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye out for at this point.
Eyes to the solo lane in that case to see not only how they do in the absence of the junglers, but of course if the junglers decide to early rotate. And we're seeing maybe early why you hate this god so damn much. Snowman just killed Reika with no issue. What the hell?
So, and it has a bit to do with the fact that they have that tier 2 mystical male there, which already is putting out damage just by standing next to them. And
Yeah.
Reika, even though you turn into the guy, it's not enough because the damage is so good. Realty also feeling it.
At least we're clicking abilities here in this case. Ixchel gonna put in a bit more effort and still somehow not come up with the kill. That's just not Baki Kujira things, I suppose. Still, some good poke there onto Chuck. Gotta make sure to remember your luck in that first game. It wasn't quite looking the best for you, so you don't want to give him any more kills here to feed that jungle mid duo. Especially now that we have a bit more traditional gods here rocking this mage, you can't be tossing more kills over to White and Trey.
And you know for a fact that Freezing Fantasy will be able to take that and run. But you finally get a chance to see if Realty was playing that Nasha mid because they don't really know how to play too many mages, or if they were just trying to out some sauce. I mean,
True.
if I know anything about Realty, I know for a fact that they do know how to play mages. They do know
Yes.
how to rock this Ixchel. You know, I did my homework, right? So it's going to be who gets that first gank off, and Heart Showers has a big showing here.
Nice brutalize, has to cancel it. The pluck, unfortunately, going to be blocked there by the Fenrir. Uses their body as a shield, and a tail whip finds 3. It's not very effective. And Punction takes that kill and makes it 2-0 here for Heart Showers.
Next, American Moose. Even though they got the pluck off to save their ADC, unfortunately, Yusko's has a pluck of their own, hook, line, and sinker to pull in that Sobek Freezing Fantasy looking for a response on Snowman.
Has that twisting dive, and look at the damage there. Honestly, they probably win that 2v1. If they get a few more minions, it might just be that level 5 difference you're always talking about, and for good reason. Yokai's Layman is so impactful in a fight, especially when you're trying to dive the whale.
And Snowman at this point also picked up a warning sigil, so they have a little bit of those magical protections to go with the ludicrous amount of physical protections that they have at this stage of the game. It means that Freezing Fantasy can't find too much off of Snowman. They're going to try, though, walking up to this blue buff. Don't quite get the steal, though. Snowman's going to go ahead and confirm that. But that's still classic Freezing Fantasy for you. They're not afraid to at least try, at the very least.
I respect it. I'm glad they're still not adopting a defeatist mentality so early in. And so early in, if you remember last time, Musi, already a BDK at this point in the game was taken off the mark. White and Trey now having to kind of slow down the pace. Maybe pick up that green buff. Why don't you, Heart Showers? You did take it away after all, but they're just going to leave it as a remembrance, as a signal for what's to come. That's got to be disrespectful.
They just get to walk past it and be like, maybe.
That
maybe
I would
one
hurt
day.
too.
It's just a stark, grim reminder of who you're up against. And White and Trey, they lost last game, so they're going to be a bit on the back foot in terms of what you can get away with mentally. But Heart Showers has such a strong start for themselves. They want to keep it going in this duel lane.
Strong start to this fight, to brutalize and the landfall to fall. Those beads only used in mid-air. It's golden hour here, baby. Rising Jaguar before you fall to your grave. And Punction goes down first. This fight's been D-carried. His respective duck goes down right after. Bois trying to follow it up here onto the Maui. Has the Sunfall swing right back into that water geyser. Rotation coming in here as well from the Discordia. A bit off the mark with that errant magic. And I want to make sure you don't get too errant with your movement, so you might just go back down yourself. Snowman, of course, gonna be able to take down Reika once again. I don't even know what to say, because like the way that Baki Kujira kills people doesn't even look like they're doing anything. They just kind of looks like they're pogging them to death.
They're just splashing around. They're that annoying kid at the pool where they're just like, I can
It's like,
water
stop
bend.
that.
I'm cool. Why do you play water bending with me? And I'm like, I just want to swim. So, Snowman, oh, so cool for this Baki Kujira pick, and it just gets worse for Reika.
Oh dear sweet God, they're trying to hunt down the Blubber Boy. Of course, that's not gonna happen. That's prohibited here in Smite's international waters. Reika goes down once again. 0-3, 3-0. This is disgusting work by the solo.
And Mystical Male gets finished off. Probably a prophetic on the way. At this point, if I'm Reika, if I'm in this situation, I'm like, just don't gank my lane. Just Freezing Waters, can you get my carry ahead, please? And come over here and melt this whale when you can. And the lane isn't totally lost, but it's like, it's such a rough position, it doesn't even feel that worth fighting for. Mex American Moose forced to use their ult to try to get away from this Fenrir.
Ooh, Ragnarok going to be evaded there by that great end. Finds the kill on the Jungle Buff 2, Collateral. And they find a ton of damage there on top of the Maui as well. The time that they hit them for and heal their teammates, extending the ultimate for way too long. Fantastic response by Realty. They do know how to play mages.
Yay, Realty! Able to lay on that damage from the ultimate. You said it yourself, hitting your teammates, it lets it last even longer, and it had to in order to get the damage off.
Oh,
Call it
Reika.
Reika Get away, Reka! No,
Bro.
tower dive him, Snowman. That's BM. Oh,
Jesus.
jeez. And over a dual lane, though, in Punction, you're gonna have to run away yourself. Otherwise, you're gonna get tower dive. Freezing Fantasy putting on some damage.
Realty goes down there in the mid. What is happening here? All of these solo kills are actually insane. Great work there by Chuck. Let's see if the luck's any better here for White and Trey in this left side. You got to charge up that hook. Fenrir's on the way. All the mobility in the world to try to catch on up. X-Ball joins the battle, and Sobek might be going down a great crushing wave, but doesn't find any kills. Next American Moose instead, first one to go down. Freezing Fantasy gets taken out there as well. X-Ball swinging those bolas wide, goes in with the Rising Jaguar, but one big maw gonna close around them. Duck for dinner once again. Double there by YeetJungleBuff.
White and Trey, they are trying to find anything they can at this point. I mean, all the way up at what are we doing at tier 2? Sub 10 minutes in the game, D'Lo. We're not up there unless we think that we need to be up there, unless we're desperate to try to leverage the fact that our solo laner is getting bodied. Chuck's doing wild things in the mid lane. Okay, let's try to kill him Punction. Can we do it? Oh no, the rest of Heart Showers is here and we just get wiped. So it's just bad news bears for White and Trey. Instead of having that advantage that they had in game 1, instead, they're rocking this crazy disadvantage. We haven't really had a chance to see a Heart Showers from ahead. We've only seen that Heart Showers from behind, and Heart Showers is always known to come up when they need to. Here comes Freezing Fantasy onto Snowman.
Yokai's Layman is an immediate response. Pop defensively. Maui maybe predicting that. Freezing Fantasy is going to continue moving on in. YeetJungleBuff does find the kill in perspective. Duck the Great End does not find the same onto Chuck. Able to get out to safety, but not without quite a bit of poke in their backside. Hey, at the very least, Snowman, you got the ult out of them. You didn't kill him, but that's something.
Yeah. No, I love Whale. I love it here. It's great.
This must be really hard, not only to see like your least favorite god, but also see them like thriving. Just absolutely living their best life.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great for them. I'm so happy. No, I'm kidding. But
Baki could you on their Instagram, just like in Malibu, like loving it here, loving it here.
Oh, great weather, great times, great people, Heart Showers when it rain and love. And White and Trey, they're just on the back foot at this point. And they're still trying to make plays happen too. Freezing Fantasy rotates over to that solo lane to try to put some pressure off. But, oh no. You can see in that dual lane, Heart Showers pressuring out Mexamoose's. Oh no. Well,
that was actually a successful invade. No, was not. Green buff taken there. You can't pull off those same tricks, and Maui just gonna say, all right, you can have that 1 XP buff if you want it, buddy. Just take some scraps if you want. That's all you can get though.
Please, sir, may I have anything right now? Anything at all?
No, but we have Whale. He's hungry.
So hungry Whale. They don't even eat buffs though. Come on, you gotta let me have at least this.
How much krill he consumes, dude?
It's huge. Oh, BDK! Heart Shower starting it up, putting it down, and a Maui ult onto Next American Moose. Okay.
Brutalized, going anywhere that he could. Dude, this guy's Air Jordan. That's Air Bud right there. YeetJungleBuff going where no puppy dogs ever soared before. The grayscale. As they go down, unfortunately, despite those fancy moves. Does not seem White and Trey were that impressed. Now Sobek, let's see what moves you got, buddy. Hey, some pretty smooth ones. Able to evade and juke around the apple. Hey, look at that. This Land Shark is looking pretty solid, even though they're on terra firma.
So White and Trey, even if they're not able to win every fight, at least we're at a stage where we're not just immediately dying and we're able to scoop away some players from Heart Showers. That Maui ult was wild. I'm surprised Mex American Moose got out by the skin of their teeth? Crocodile teeth? Yeah. They weren't turned into a purse or a pair of shoes. Not quite yet, but you know for a fact Heart Shower sharpening the knives, getting it ready. YeetJungleBuff wants to rotate on top of Punction here.
Oh no, the Field of Love instantly cut off that Jaguar Rising, and Duck is hunted once again, and Punction gonna put them at the end of an arrow. Now White and Trey, considering their dreams of a Gold Fury, now just have to settle for a speed buff here, and that's all you can do here in the Shtetl, as White and Trey just try to dream of the old country where they were in the lead in the early game, and now 11 minutes in, it's 4-12. What happened? 4,000 down, and still no Gold Furies even here from Heart Showers themselves. They have that on the mark. Whenever they want, they're just pushing out tier 2s instead.
In Punction on this Cupid, is just putting in work. They're 4-1. Pair that with YeetJungleBuff on this Fenrir, also 4-2, and Snowman. But the side lane and the jungle lane is able to win so much gold experience for them, and they leverage it so well. They're collapsing on to White and Trey here, at least making sure that they can't do their buffs so soundly. They got to do it with one eye open. Hardshower is going to go ahead and start backing up, but I'm wondering when they're going to start things like objectives, like Gold Furies. We've only seen one BDK so far, which is a little different from what we saw last time. Maybe partially, in fact, to the realization that there's no Baka this time. Oh, Sobek pluck onto Maui, forced to jump away.
Can they get away is the question. Seems the answer so far is yes. Discordia going to be joining them, so it's mid and support versus support and jungle, but you have a join there from our friend the Cupid. Plucked quickly, not too much damage applied after. Hubwall used those beads, avoids the landfall, so you don't have to worry about that, at least for the moment. Solar Swing, not going to find the target either. A lot of spaghetti on the floor here from Maui. I guess we're eating out in Italian tonight. Heart Bomb. It's a bit of extra damage. Discordia just trying to establish that pressure as the beacon meter is slowly filled up. Look at that, Snowman. Why not? Farm whatever you want at this point, buddy. It's all yours for the taking as they just continue to get fatter and greedier. This whale is disgusting. Heart Showers take that beacon.
And with that beacon, they put some more damage onto that mid tower. Down to about 75% health. They want more, though. Green buff scooped up by Mex-American Moose. They're going to have to settle for his life, potentially.
Deciding to actually back off. Some uncharacteristic passive play there. Not knowing what quite waited in the wings. It wasn't X-Ball, to be fair. Realty gets soloed again by Chuck. So unfortunate. Just that great end that we were applauding them for so long ago, or at least it feels like it, because ever since then, Chuck's just been turning up the heat.
That's the big Chuck difference. That's what it is. Chuck on Discordia, this is a character that we know for a fact they're able to perform so well on, and they are happy to show us and let us know. Heart Showers. It's like they say, it's like Dante says, there's no better feeling than winning in all three lanes, right? It's better than sex. Like, it's just the GOAT. And Heart Showers is feeling it as the Ragnarok into dual lane. Picking up Shimalake, beats expended.
Fenrir trying to go in and get some satisfaction of their own. They will not have it thanks to the use of those relics. Good job there by Duck to keep himself safe. He can stay safe from these apples. One today keeps the doctor away. X-Ball stays away thanks to that rising Jaguar. Chuck goes back as they see the rest of Heart Showers have answered the call for this Fury. Sobek's the only one who seemed to have intercepted it, and now going to be brought in all close. Hey, join the party. Heart Showers take the Fury. YeetJungleBuff has their life taken. Realty's back on the offensive. Uh-oh, who invited a whale to the party? Sobek quickly ejects him from the premises.
And as the Heart Showers tries to shove them away, White and Trey are able to back up, and they also pick themselves up a Pyromancer. So it's not all bad for White and Trey. You lose Gold Fury, but you pick up their jungler, and you get a Pyromancer. That's a pretty solid Trey Realty if you don't get absolutely soloed here again.
Ooh, good damage there to response. Now Chuck has the minion waves against them too, throws the apple in. Bouncing around just does not have luck with their ultimate. Now Hubwall is here to answer the call. Fortunately, Baki Kujiro loves the water. Just gonna split splash around, have a quick bath, and White and Trey have to return back to farming. That tier 1 was toast.
And unfortunate that, Chuck wasn't able to thread the needle on that ultimate. But good for Realty, good for White and Trey. And we love an underdog, and that is certainly where White and Trey are sitting right now. I'm wondering, what's the plan to get them back in the game? Who's the key to all of this? It might be Realty. Ixchel putting out a lot of damage. And White and Trey has been able to leverage that pretty well in team fights. It came up in that Gold Fury fight. The Ixchel pouring the damage on and being able to heal. Reka gonna be in a bit of a tough situation.
Oh,
here,
come
though.
on! That was such a fantastic body block after the twisting dive, and now he's gonna pick him up. Bro, just leave him at home, okay? Come on. The little Hound of Ulster just wants to stay back with their Ixchel. Some good heals there and damage by that great end. Now what do you have left, though? Lunar Invocation easily just two-tapped around. Baki Kujira just continuously absorbing more damage and trying to dish out more as well. And Punction finds the kill on a Freezing Fantasy in that left side. Gank did not go their way, but the one on the right is looking awfully solid here for the Heart Showers. Good Rainbow Crash, but The rainbow dash your way back to the fountain. Snowman finds even more. I thought whales were supposed to only eat krill, but it looks like they're going for the bigger shrimp in the sea. Now it's the Hound of Ulcer on their mind.
Killer Whale wants more than shrimp. They're going to take out Reika. YeetJungleBuff picks up the kill there, and everybody is very conspicuously placed next to FG. They're not going to go for it, though. Man,
Not
you
until
have to
Reika
feel bad for Reika.
DCs.
Yeah,
Not
right.
until
When Reika's completely out of the picture, then we'll opt for it. In the meantime, we just want to bully Reika more.
Dear sweet God. I was about to say at the very least they did die. What am I thinking? I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's hope that somehow Reika was able to survive. It's no fault of their own. It's just Whale. 17 minutes, 5 to 16. This is not a Whale of a good time at all for White and Trey, as they now stand up against a 6,000 gold deficit. Got a bomb in pocket. There's some options here. There's global gold on the map still in the form of those tier 1s in mid and solo, but FG fight, gotta imagine our eyes are on that in the future. What is White and Trey's strategy around it to ensure they can pick some kills off it or maybe even get the objective themselves?
So I would need Freezing Fantasy to try to put down either YeetJungleBuff, AO It's Chalk, or Impunction. If you can find a big 3 or 4 man ult, that crashing waves, that's ideal, but I wouldn't try to fish for it. We need to have Mex American Moose get a pluck off of on like a squishy or something like that, and then Freezing Fantasy, Perspective Duck, and Realty need to just dump into them and then fight the 4v5 afterwards. The problem is Heart Showers has so many useful tools for fighting in an FG pit between the Cupid ultimate, between the Bake Kojira ultimate, and AO Chuck is able to bounce that apple around like nobody's business. It becomes very tricky. I wonder if potentially we don't fight around an FG and we try to find a trade in like a Gold Fury instead, but knowing Heart Showers, they'll take that Gold Fury before the Fire Giant if possible, if only to force White and Trey into a situation where they don't necessarily want to be in.
Seems that's going to be the exact case here is carry and support alike try to force the issue. Pluck already expended, and that's going to mean there's no peel left for your friends. The Fenrir goes in, finding so much damage onto Duck. Clawed to death, the landfall pops up, only to sink right back down to the waves after a blink to escape here for the Fenrir. Habwa trying to find their opportunity, but has target selection issues, and the Whale is just sitting there dishing out damage the entire time. The crushing waves is nothing more than a carnival ride attraction here for Bake Kujira as they sail their way looking for Realty. They heard you say it's their greatest hope, and now it's been crushed beneath Blubberbutt. Double kill there on a Freezing Fantasy. Mex American Moose goes down 2. It's an easy near wipe. Reika finally able to survive and finally able to get a kill there too. Chuck goes down.
I was about to shout at the top of my lungs if Reika was not able to find Chuck there. They chased them for so far and so long, abandoning the rest of their team to the members of Heart Showers just for that one kill. I don't even blame them though, because you have to find something in those moments. And I was surprised to see Chuck live for as long as they did, but since Heart Showers are able to very cleanly win that fight, it's gonna earn them this Primal Fury. Picking that up, I wouldn't be surprised to see a back and then into a rotation to fire, or Snowman could just solo a Pyromancer.
Look
wow,
at this,
cool,
he just like vibrates.
cool whale.
Like this isn't even like a good animation to watch. He just like kind of flops a little bit like Magikarp using Splash, but it's super effective. Most powerful move in the game. It's a one-hit KO as Pyromancer slowly but surely soloed down by the Bake Kujira.
Damn you, aggro! What is this character?
Just shaking her fist in the skies.
Aggro.
I mean, do you think like when Reika like abandoned their team to go find Chuck, they turn away with like one single tear just streaming down their face, knowing they've sentenced the rest to death?
I'm sorry. I have to do what I have to do.
I need to pad my stats.
Stats.
I'm sorry. Press T.
Press T to see the good players. You'll understand later. Reika, no! JungleBuff forced to use their ultimate there, but they are able to get away from White and Trey, Perspective Duck, and Mex American Moose. They can't keep that puppy in a cage at all.
Yeah, I mean, YeetJungleBuff has been, nonetheless, despite being taken off all those auto attack gods that they made sure to go very out of their way to take away from him. It's just not working because now you just have a Whale running you down once again. Don't go back in. What are you thinking? Reika goes down.
Well,
again.
it was don't go back in, but if you walk forward, there's a giant fields of love there. So
That sounds like a better end. Better end than Snowman, honestly.
Better end than Wheel. Die to Cupid, not to Whale. That's ideal. FG getting picked up. Hard Showers putting the damage on, and no one's here to stop them. YeetJungleBuff has the dual lane very distracted, and freezing Fantasy and Realty are just not willing to step to it.
He might just win this 1v2 because he can see perfectly fine. Doggy's got night vision. Hold on. Good beads there to follow. The bolas and the poison darts. That certainly can't be humane. Perspective Duck finds the kill. Realty arrives just to get a bit of a consolation prize, a pat on the back. Meanwhile, Habwa eating so much damage. The apple finds its mark. It's nutritious and delicious. So is that kill on to Freezing Fantasy. Thanks to the Puppy Dog going down, the left side tier 2 will be taken in trade, as well as getting that FG off the fender. That at least feels nice.
But that does still mean that Hard Showers has 4 members remaining with their FG, and in this 4v4, it's a 4+ versus a 4- because you do not have the cool belf around your waist.
Nope.
But Hard Showers is just gonna take it easy. They're gonna chill. They're waiting for It's Chuck to push up that left side and then cross over to mid before doing anything too saucy. And if I'm White and Trey, I'm happy to waste this time. Run down the timer from FG, try to figure out a battle plan, and honestly, it's just going to come down to fighting together as 5 and maybe get a good pick beforehand. It's not going to be Snowman, though. Not in a million years. That whale gets to do whatever they want to do.
It's 6-0. This is the worst nightmare of a SeaWorld employee at this point. Baki Kujira has come for you making them sit up and clap and do all those stupid flips. Now it's your turn to do some tricks for him. Turn around and go back to the fountain where you came from. Some really good damage there already put on by Chuck. And yeah, instantly White and Trey turn back and obey.
Beacon picked up by Hard Showers there just to soften up those tier 2 towers and soften up that left side Phoenix. Oni Fury's going to be spawning soon. YeetJungleBuff isn't too concerned about that, though. They want to take a bite out of Freezing Fantasy, who has to use their ultimate right away.
And it's not going to be good looks for them. They do, I think, use those beads to get out of the Ragnarok. They at least must have, but not going to instead opt for the golden aesthetic, instead opting for the monochromatic, gray and white. I've heard it's very in fashion.
Yeah, you know, it's wonderful this time of year, seeing everything. I mean, Fender is already dog vision. They can't see colors, so they just want to know, they want to have Freezing Fantasy experience what they live. The black and white, monochromistic nonsense. And then
Oni Fury.
Nice. They'll see it back. High five. But Reika looking to put a dog down potentially. I don't think JungleBuff. Actually, no, they do want to fight this. They're a wild dog.
Why not? Hound of Ulcer versus Puppy Dog, quickly having buyer's remorse because the pound's coming for you, and they're putting quite a bit of damage. He's venting all of his anger into YeetJungleBuff for what Snowman did to him. Meanwhile, in the left lane, Whale is killing everyone. The apple is going to be dropped, and versus that Aegis and the Rising Jaguar gets them back to safety. Left side Bird finds out the true apex predator. Of course, it's a whale. We all have done our food chain research here. As Hard Shower's side, we're satisfied. We're going to go back and just wait for more.
From submarines to left side Phoenixes, this Baki Kujira is just putting down so much work.
We need a bigger boat.
We need a bigger boat. It's like Jaws, but exponentially worse, because this isn't a shark, it's a whale. It slows down time, and it makes it so that Hard Showers is able to have whatever they want, right? White and Trey, man, I'm really scratching my head trying to figure out what the game plan here is, but honestly, it's just try to buy time and get some items, find a good fight, and then hope it goes well. You can't really bait out a Baki Kujira ult. Snowman has been, you know, really good trigger discipline in not just expending it right away. And even though you pluck the whale, you tail whip the whale, they're not even trying to dash out. Hard Showers picks up a Pyromancer instead, and Snowman takes literally no damage. Look at that. What is that, 200 out of 4,000? That's baby numbers. It's baby numbers for a big old whale.
Can we press T to see mitigations real quick, please? I'm so curious. Dear sweet Jesus. Dear sweet Jesus. Look at that. That is... Bow to your god. This is your god. The Baleen Torment moves on in, looking to try to get some damage off on their aquatic friend. No longer their friend at this point. Once again, brothers have turned to vicious enemies, and we're seeing it right here. Sobek in trouble, plucked back in, a twisting dive as well. beautiful coordination. Solar swing gonna finish with a resounding crash. Mex-American Moose goes down the great end to evade that landfall, but the whale just eats the beam to the face, and the Pridwind shield gonna grant them so many protections. Chuck takes down their opposition. Yeet finishes off the duck, and Reika finally gets a kill back to answer again.
And Heart Showers, I think they would have ended here, D'Lo. If I'm not mistaken, it's time to knuckle up.
You got to find your chance, or this SeaWorld exhibition's gonna be over mightily quickly. Heart Showers look to move on to finals. Kukoan pushes them back in, but Titan's dropping low. A kill onto Yusko. It's just not enough. Heart Showers take it in 2.
What a cool character. I love Bake Kujira.
Dude.
Ban it next time you have to fight. I hope that whoever Heart Showers has to go up against first bans Bake Kujira going into their next set. Because obviously, you can't let Snowman have that. How is White and Trey even supposed to know about that going into this, though? Because who plays the whale, man? It's like a gentleman's agreement. Like, don't do that, man. I'm biased, though.
No, like,
Snowman
I'm
puts
with
in
you.
work.
I'm very with you. Snowman, yeah, he did put in work. Considering again the fact that formerly a carry, performed beautifully, now a solo, performed beautifully. What can't this whale do?
I'll tell
Be
you what they
fun?
can't do. Be fun. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say be fun to lane against. Like I don't know. I love Smite
Well,
too because I don't have to fight Whale. Like
I don't think he's in the first 50, so I think we're safe for now. But soon, ever so soon, Baki Kujira, the Yokai will make their return, and we saw it here. Ever so glorious. If we have to capture one good thing though that we saw from our friends on the opposite side here, what do we think that's got to be?
So I will say, game one, Freezing Fantasy was able to put in a ton of work on that Zhang Kui. I really enjoy White and Trey's ability as a team to find good scrappy fights and early leads. Even though they were down this game two, it didn't stop them from having that aggressive mentality. Realty on this eggshell was able to pull some gnarly plays with their ultimate, both that mid lane fight that happened pretty early on and when they went to go contest that Gold Fury. They ultimately lost it, but they were able to find a trade to go with their pyromancer. So all in all, I think White and Trey, they're solid players. It's just unfortunate that I think Hardshowers just had a stronger, more consistent draft. They knew what they wanted to play and they knew how they wanted to play it between their Maui, their Cupid, and their Discordia, and they played around that so well. It's just hard to try to parse that out with only 2 games to play.
Unfortunately, the sibling rivalry ends here with a resounding answer of who takes it this time around. Ayo, it's Chuck and Snowman get the bigger portions at the family dinner table. Other kids are obviously the middle children. They walk away with just the table scraps. That being said, it's great effort on both sides. White and Trey gave it their all, just couldn't quite give it against the whale. That being said, congratulations to Hard Showers. They've secured their final spot in this division for the Diamonds, and that's going to be it as far as what we got here today. So thank you all very much for watching this AGL Diamond Division set semifinals between Heart Showers, our victors. Congrats, and White and Trey, unfortunately, better luck next time. I've been D'Lo, joined here by Musicland. We had Tess, Almighty Eye in the Sky. Please make sure to thank our production for all of their hard work. We cannot do it without them. Last, but certainly not least, thank you, loyal, obedient viewer, for your time. We hope you've enjoyed this kooky set just as much as we have. Keep an eye to the sky for more AGL content in the future. Until then, though, good games and good night.